Hey Floss, I'm back with another stitch with me. I am just sitting down to do my day 11 of the 100 days challenge of Heed. I am stitching QS Huggable artwork by Randall Spangler, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So it's this cute little dragon right here, and as you can see, this is where I have gotten to. So I am over halfway. The last 100-day challenge, I finished all of this, and this challenge I have done work my way almost to the bottom. I am missing like 10 rows to reach the end, a little bit more, and have focused on the tea bag. And today I was thinking I would work some more on the dragon's foot. And when I have gotten into the stitching I am going to do, I was thinking I would do the Emily C tag. So this is just a little part of the chart. It won't give you much, so I'm not that afraid of copyrights in that regards. I don't have anywhere else to have it so far. As you can see, I have gotten a Lavery frame. It's from my husband for my birthday, which is in August, so I got it a little bit early. So this is a new setup. I will have to stitch with this decent part away from me so you can see. Try to zoom in. Sorry for the shaking, I'm just trying to adjust the like this, trying to get it as close as I can to myself before being bad for you. So I totally lost focus. Yes, when I have gotten into the stitching, I would do the Emily C tag. I have only looked at a few of the questions, so a lot of them I have not thought through. And first I wanted to show you how I do my organization. I have started some of these flosses on the bobbins, which I have on rings, and I'm hanging just on the Lavery frame. That's not how I do it now, but these are the colors that I have started to use on QS Huggable that are a little bit different than what I have in my double-sided bobbin box. So I have labeled them by numbers inside the box, and some of them, like these, I have also labeled symbols, and depending on how I have written them and what color the bobbin is, I know what chart it belongs to. So these white ones are QS Huggable. These, the color matched, so I put them in my double-sided bobbin box. So I know I'm going to use this one, 581. So I will take that out right away. Also, I was thinking I would show you how I thread my needle, because I don't lick and I don't use needle threader. So that I will show when I have gotten the floss. I use a ruler to do the lengths of my cutting. Got inspiration from Stitchin' Mommy. It's a 30 centimeter ruler, and I'm taking it all the way around twice, then cut it. The reason why I measure all my floss before I'm cutting them is because it's a great length to stitch with. And also, if I am doing shorts that calls for blended thread, I know I have the exact length I need on the bobbin, and these that are I have taken around here in the hole, these are used ones or shorter ones. So I don't mix them up with the full length one. So when I actually are stitching on blended thread patterns, it's not a big deal. It's actually really easy. I just take a length of each I need. That's on the bobbin. So I'm using the loop method, and I'm stitching this on 18 count Aida 2/1. I hope you can see fine from here. When I have a new floss, all I need to do, I put the two lengths so they're equal, and I just pull them down between my fingers so they are just showing up. And then I take the eye on my needle and push gently against the floss, and sometimes I just wiggle it a little bit going down, and then I take the floss and pull through. So there you have it, threaded without a needle threader or licking. Also, if the floss is a little bit worn out, especially if I play thread chicken, as I do a lot, I think I can say all of the time, I take the floss around my needle, I pull down with my fingers and pull up with my needle and push off, so I have just a tiny loop between my fingers. And then again, I just take the eye of the needle, point it straight down, and push down on the floss. If I need, I wiggle it just a tiny bit, then I move my fingers up to the top part of the floss and pull through. One more time for demonstrations. So I pull up with my needle, down with my fingers, pull off. So I have it now between my fingers, not much sticking up, just enough for me to take the eye of the needle, push down on the floss, and as I push down on the floss, I just take my fingers a little bit apart at the top, because then you can see I can push the needle down. Then I just take and pull the floss that is through the needle and pull it, and it's threaded. So if you have more questions, or if that wasn't clear, I hope it will show up on the video just fine. I'm not sure, but I hope. If you have any questions about it, ask me. I will gladly help demonstrate again. Maybe try a different setup if this was unclear. So let's see. I'm doing the loop method from the front, so I'm just going down. I stitch bottom left to top right, then bottom right to top left. Usually always in that direction. Sometimes I will go from top right to bottom left, but especially when parking, I'm not doing that a whole lot. So I just went down the bottom left, up the bottom right. I haven't pulled the floss through, and here you can see I have a little loop at the end. I pull my needle through, I pull, and the last hole I went up, I will now go down, because the loop that is on this side will now be pulled to the back of the fabric, and I can start stitch. So I hope you did see that well enough. I'm not sure, because I think I'm sitting with my hand a little bit in the way when I'm doing this two-handed. And I do parking page by page. That means I will usually do the full row of the page downwards, not always, because if, like here, on this peach color here, on the tea bag, that color there was a whole lot of, and they did stop exactly lining up downwards, so I just stitched this down. So now I have done the stitches for this. I need to park it. Sorry about that, I needed to count and be sure I didn't park wrong. And when I park, I do a half stitch and then come up, so it's easy to see where it's easy to pick up the floss and do the first the next leg and finish the X. And the reason I do it this way is because usually I will do the color that is closest to the left edge, and I will never, almost never, stitch over where longer than where I have stitches above. And this means having the park a floss on the left side will often get in the way of the stitches that are coming, and I need to move it away. But parking it on the right side, I basically have made it so I almost never need to actually move the floss while stitching. So mark off my short. The Emily C tag was very popular a while ago when it came out. I have seen some do it, and I thought it was a good tag, and wanted to do it. So the first question is, what is your favorite cereal? I'm actually not big on cereals, but if I had to choose one, it would be Cocoa Puffs. I don't know if you have it in the US, but it's like chocolate cereal or cocoa cereal. So yeah, that's that. Number 2, what are your favorite pizza toppings? Usually my favorite is taco pizza, which I make myself homemade. That is the absolutely best. Lately I have also been very fond of pepperoni and pineapple pizza. I am one of those that loves pineapple, and I have no problem having it on my pizza. So just this can seem very tedious right now, but I am in a very confetti dense area, and I will often think about how my stitches look on the back also. So I could have continued with this color, but this color I have parked here are actually going to this side. So I want it over to this side before finishing these stitches, because then it will be hidden behind the stitches and it will look neater on the back. So managed to loop the thread hanging. Question 3. You are on death row. What is your last meal? I think I would say a beef. I like my beef red in the middle, so rare. And with Bernie, we have something called bearnéssaus here in Norway. I'm not sure what it is in English, maybe like Bernie sauce, something like that. And with fries at the side. No, actually, when I was in Spain once, we were on this expensive restaurant. My uncle and aunt had their anniversary, so they took us to an expensive restaurant. My uncle and aunt lives in Spain, and we did get a beef, or I did get a beef with strawberry sauce and with mashed potatoes at the side, and I think I will go for that one with the mashed potato and strawberries. But in reality, I am not a big like dinner person. I'm more like a dessert person, so maybe I would just take like 7 meals of a dessert or something. I don't know, I never been on that row, so it's hard to know what you actually would have chosen if you were in that position. Let me see. It is laundry day. What are your really weird bottom of the drawer underwear? I don't think I have any weird underwear at the bottom of my drawers. Because the only thing I have is like some underwear that are just a tiny bit too small that I don't get rid of, just in case I need to use them because I haven't done the laundry. But usually I never get that far down my laundry pile, so I don't think I have any like weird ones. I did throw them away a long time ago. So that was number 4. 5. Who would play you in a movie about your life? The difficulty about that question is, am I supposed to choose someone that looks like me or someone that I would want to play me, that I feel are a little bit like myself? If I am going for someone that looks like me, I have had a lot of comments that Kirsten Dunst and I are very similar, so then it would be her. If I did choose someone that I would want to play me, it would be Sasha Alexander. She is Isle in the TV show Rizzoli and Isles. She's the female doctor, if I'm gonna call her that. She has a doctor degree, so I think that would be her. Now I didn't park on the right side just because I'm not going to do any more stitches on the left side, so I park it there because most likely it will come in the way of some of the things I'm gonna do now. So back to the questions. 6. What food items do you sneak into the movie theater in your purse or man bag? I don't need to sneak anything into the movie theater here in Norway because we're allowed to take whatever we want. So, but usually we will have like popcorn, soda, very often chocolate and some candies. So, what is your perfect vacation? I think that maybe my perfect vacation would be something like, I'm not sure where, but in a cottage that is by the lake where there's not many other people around. It has to be warm and sunny, and warm, sunny and quiet really on a cottage. I think that would be my ideal vacation lately. I get so easily tired around other people, and I like it home the best. So something that is like similar to home, just a little bit better. Like a cottage where it's nice and quiet and warm weather and a lake that I could go and take a swim in. I usually don't swim in the ocean. But I do love to swim in lakes. So, yeah, I think that would be my answer to that one. 8. You're stuck on a deserted island and can have 5 things. What do you have? I have this, don't know the name. It's a thing you can have your feet on, like rest your feet on when you're sitting in a chair. Or like a stressless. And you can actually open it up, and inside there is a storage space. And inside there I have all my whips, all my stitchy stuff that are whips and have to do with whips are there. So I would take that with me, with all my stitchy stuff inside. And most likely I would take a bookcase with all my books. And take with me like something where I can collect or get water easily and food. I have heard people like taking a fridge with them. So something that can easily get food and water. And my family, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I would go well with my family stuck on a deserted island. I think we only would quarrel a lot. That's at least what I imagine we would do. And my bed, so I can sleep well. If you could have a reproduction style chart with any theme possible, what would the theme be? I'm not familiar with any reproduction charts. I know they're very popular, but I'm not into prim stitching, even though I will start a prim pattern in October. Heather, Link is my homeboy, is the one convincing me to buy that and join her for her birthday sale. But if I would choose a pattern, a theme for a pattern, I would choose fantasy. So I guess the answer is fantasy. 10. What is your strangest travel experience? Bonus point if you ever spent time in a foreign jail. I have not. I don't think I have that many strange ones. in all reality. But I have a very funny one, which most likely for one of the persons involved would find very strange, even though he lived there and we were only vacationing. So me and my family, we traveled to Tenerife. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced in English. In Norwegian is Tenerife. And I was there with my mom and dad, my siblings, in plural. Yes, I have 4 siblings. Only 3 of them were with us on the trip. My aunt and uncle and a cousin, and my grandparents on my mother's side. And my grandma, she has, since I was little, always been old, if you know what I mean. She has always acted old. She has always had a lot of trouble with different things, and I've never been feeling that well. And yes, it is sorry for her, but sometimes she will also make it worse than it actually is, just because she wants the attention. That may sound cruel, but it's really not. You have to meet her to understand why we're saying this. And this story might also get you to understand a little bit more. So she wasn't sure how it would be walking so much around on vacation. So she decided to take a wheelchair with her to use. In reality, she was only going to use it a little bit, like when we were going for long walks and so on. But she ended up using it all the time. She was in that wheelchair almost all the time, every single day. So we were out walking. We had gone to some stores down in the little town, and there was a lot of uphill going back to the hotel. So we figured out that we were tired and none of us really had the strength and the strength left to actually push my grandmother home all the way. So instead, we wanted to take a taxi. And we went and saw a taxi that we liked, made a signal to that we wanted to take the taxi. And the taxi had to drive around to turn the car, so it would be, after we got in the car, it would be easier to drive out of where he was in the taxi. So that was fine by us, but my grandmother, she did not see why he was turning. So she actually thought that he was driving away. So there you have, I bet she was in her 60s or 70s or something like that when we were on this vacation. And she suddenly, she had been stuck in that wheelchair, and the person in the taxi, he had seen her in the wheelchair and that we were pushing her to where he was and so on. And suddenly, when he drove away to turn the car, she thought he was driving away. So she jumped out of the wheelchair and started running against the taxi to try and stop him. And the most funny part was we could actually see the man in the taxi car make this this cross on his body to like start and pray, and it was hilarious. I think she scared him a lot, that poor taxi driver. And yeah, that was a very funny trip. We had also a whole bunch of other things happening that trip, so that was just the topping on the cake. So I think that was a very strange experience for the poor taxi driver. So not that strange for me, but that's the best I could come up with. Question 11. What are you saving money for right now? Right now we are saving money to make a laundry room downstairs, because we don't really have a laundry room. So I have, like, my washing machines for my clothes are upstairs and the dryer are downstairs, and I have to like run between all our floors. We have 3 floors to wash clothes and dry them and hang them up and so on. So we are actually planning on making a laundry room, and then the laundry will go much easier for me. That is a very long-term saving, because right now my husband don't have a regular job. He is like just getting these small jobs for a small period of time. So, and short term, I am trying to save some money for an Omnic frame. I really want Omnic frames for my Lowery stand. So it would be nice if I could save up some money and buy it for Christmas or something like that. Just at least 1 or 2 to begin with. So that's what we are saving money for. Right now I'm just looking if there's anything close by with this color. It's not, so then I end my stitches with a pin stitch. So I just take a square close by, and I go up like in the middle at the bottom of the square of the Ada. Then I go down the middle. Then I will go up the middle of the Ada down at the bottom. I will go down the middle again, because then I have like pinned the floss, and I just come back up the first hole I came up in, pull and cut the floss as close as I can. And there I have my pin stitch. So I don't know how much you could see of that, or my hands were in the way, but if you want a better demonstration, let me know and I will try to give it to you. So back to the questions. Number 12. What craft would you like to try to get better at? Try or get better at? Sewing, I think. I would really like to learn how to sew properly. I can like use my sewing machine and do it for zigzagging my edges, to cut and make the curtains the right height and stuff like that. I have done, but I have never done like a project bag and make rain guards and so on. So that I would really like to try to get better at. And most crafts I actually have tried. Not all of them have been, I have liked them, but it's not like stitching. I have a very special relationship to stitching, so I'm not sure how to explain it. I want to stitch, basically. Question 13. If you had to stitch only 3 designers for the rest of your life, who would you choose? Heaven and Earth Designs, because then I would have a very big variety of shorts and so on to do. And I would also do Joan Elliott, because then I could get like Fancy Ladies. She has a lot of nice, she has some cute dragons and so on. And I'm struggling between Teresa Wensler. I have never done her designs, but I really love them. I want to do them. And yes, I got really sad when she took away her dragons to stitch. Or Mirabilias, because I really love her Fancy Ladies. I would really one day like to stitch her mermaids and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not sure. Since I have some Fancy Ladies with Joan Elliott, I'm not sure I would choose the Mirabilia. But maybe choose Soda Stitch or something, like cutesy patterns, and I could like stitch Beauty and the Beast and all Disney that I love. And usually her patterns, the Soda Stitch patterns, are not as big as a Haid or a Joan Elliott. Usually Joan Elliott has large patterns. She also has small ones, I know. But yeah, I think maybe Soda Stitch, because then I would also get a really big variety, but still a lot of the stuff I love, like Disney, fantasy, Fancy Ladies, and so on. I think that those 3 would cover it very well. 14. Dumbest way you have ever been injured. Oh no, I didn't get this memo. The dumbest way was, we were at a water park. At this time I were like 14. Remember, I have been raised in a very strict religious home. So everything that has to do with boys, I knew nothing about. I mean, nothing. And we were at this water park, and we did take this ride that you sat in like a ring, that there is air inside the ring, so it was laying atop of the water. So you would be, there was this pump of water that would like push the ring you sat on up to the top, and you would like travel down on this ring on the slide. It was a water slide, and at one point you stopped at a center part before going further down, and there was a person working there, standing to like, you were waiting in line before he sent you down, just to make it so every person wasn't too close. I think it's because in the water slide you could like easily get almost run into another person. So I think that's why they had that stopping point. And the person working at that stopping point, he really started to like me and show interest in me. And as I said, I was 14. I had no clues about boys. I was bullied at school and didn't, except for my brothers and their friends, I didn't have any boy friends that were boys. And I had never been hit on before. Never. And he was, every time I took the slide, he was like getting closer and closer to the end, where he actually pushed me off the ring I sat on. So I would basically be stuck there with him, because he wanted to get to know me better. And when he did that, I totally 100% panicked. I was scared to death. So when I freaked out, I took the ring from his hand, and I basically ran and pushed the ring in front of me and jumped up on the ring, landing on my stomach on the ring. So the problem with the slide is that when you're laying on your stomach in the ring, you have your face basically sticking outside of the ring. You're not like sitting inside of it, safe. So going down the slide, I managed to use my feet to like stabilize the ring, but right at the end of the slide, the ring turned and pushed my face against the wall of the slide, so I hit my nose. And since it was right at the end, I hit my nose so hard in the edge of the slide that I fall backwards down into the water. And when I came up, nobody had really seen what happened. So my sister, she was standing there laughing because I had fallen off my ring. And then suddenly I remember she turned all pale, because then the blood from my nose started running, and it was like massive, especially since I was in the water and had just been underneath the water. So there was like blood everywhere in seconds. And I really don't remember a lot from the rest of the trip back home, but I ended up with, my nose didn't break, but I did get like when it get like just a little break, but don't totally break off, if you know what I mean, in the bone. And since I got my neck flung backwards, I also got some trouble in my back, as if you are crashing in a car, you can get like this neck injury, and the same one I did like get from the slide. So that's the dumbest way I have ever been injured. So that's the dumbest way I can think of I have been injured. What is your worst roommate or housemate story? I have only lived at home with my parents or by myself, and then I moved in with my husband. But yeah, I think the worst story I know of is me and my husband, we are not fond of drugs at all. I have worked with rehabilitation of person that has drug addictions after they come to like this center where they get free, and then they got sent to where I worked, where we basically try to help them through the need for getting back and so on. So, and help them to see that they could live a normal life, and help them to actually do live a normal life, getting them into routines and stuff like that. So I have always been very strict in that matter. But my husband, he has some friends that are more liberal in that matter. So he was out visiting with his friends. This was right in the beginning when I have moved in with him. He was just going there to watch some movie, and when he came home, he was high. And he was smelling of drugs. And I was furious. I got so mad, you can't imagine. And he was like, I haven't smoked anything, and all that. And I basically didn't talk to him for like a whole day. I was so mad. And when he had like getting everything out of his system, he sat down and said, really, I didn't take anything. And I was like, yeah, but you were high. And he was like, well, maybe it was because when they had watched movie, his friend had found out that he wanted to smoking. And to give it best effect, he had closed all the windows and doors, of course. So basically, even though my husband did never smoke himself, he was a passive smoker, and that made a reaction. He never did that again. So 16. You have unlimited income. What does your dream house look like? Insert picture if possible. Really? I don't know. Maybe like a Victorian style house. I will try and insert a picture here. 17. What song would you want played, sang at your funeral or memorial? So, there is a Norwegian band here from this town I live in that is called Vamp. And they have a song that is called Tirna Noir. And it is just this beautiful song about a man at his last days wanting to travel to the end place where he can meet the love of his life and see her again. And it's just the whole song and everything is like in, like I have seen that song being like you do with poem, you can analyze. So you analyze the song and everyone finds different things and new things about the song. It's so deep, it has so much meaning, and it has so much feeling. So yeah, I really love that song. And it's a little sad song. The melody is beautiful though. So I would choose that song. So if you ever get the possibility, I would encourage you to search it up. I know they have it on Spotify. I don't know if they have it on the American Spotify, but I will insert the name of the band and the song and you can go and see for yourself. If not, you can always search it on YouTube. I think you can find it there also. So that song I would want. It is in Norwegian, so it's not possible. You can hear how the song is, but I don't know how much you will understand of it. 18. What is your favorite board or card game? Oh my, that's difficult. I promise you, we have over 200 board games. And on top of that, I actually really like to play card games. So, but lately the game we have been playing a lot that I really do like, it's called Gloomhaven. And it's one of the games that are on the top 10 list of best board games in the world. So, and it really is a fun game, and I like it a lot. Some people say it's basically D&D in board game format, because in normal D&D you would have one person like leading the game and tell the story and so on, but here you have the board game telling the story and you are playing, and you have these modifiers and so on that makes it so it's not too easy. It's rather the opposite side. It can be really hard at times, and that is what I like about it. That it's not a super simple game. You actually have to think to be able to do it properly. So, Gloomhaven. But I'm sure we just bought Harry Potter. I have not tried it yet. And we also bought the expansion so I can play Luna. Luna Lovegood. And I think most likely I will fall in love with that game also, when we just get to play it. 19. Who was your first celebrity crush? Tom Cruise. Oh yes. And it was because of the Mission Impossible. Or maybe, I'm not sure if it's Tom Cruise or if I really loved MacGyver when I was little. I watched him from I was like 4. He was on Norwegian TV. I could see MacGyver and Dean Anderson. Is that what his name? the original MacGyver. I think maybe I had a crush on him when I was little, so maybe not Tom Cruise was the first, maybe MacGyver was the first. Number 20. If you could capture a smell in a candle or perfume, what would that smell be? The smell of my son when he was a newborn baby. That smell, it was incredible. And he smelled amazing. Generally, newborn babies actually smell good for some weird reason. So yeah, I think I would have to say that. And that was the last of the questions. I didn't get much stitching done because it was really hard doing this confetti part while talking. But I did about 50 stitches or so, I think. So now I will continue on stitching. I will get the 2 videos edited and uploaded to YouTube. And hopefully you can enjoy before the Friday stitching that is tomorrow, because I am filming on Tuesday, 12th of July. So happy stitching. I hope you enjoyed and have a lovely rest of your day and stitching. Bye!